what we're going to do is I've got to get the coals out.
Yeah.
We started this fire about 4 hours ago.
Okay.
And it takes a while for it to heat up, but it's like 1,000 degrees in there. And so I'm just going to scoop these out.
Well, look, we're ready to get this process started. I want to see some bread made.
I know, me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the kitchen. The world famous Stacy Harris kitchen, right here. Got to get the process started to get this bread made. Now, what do we do first?
All right, what I did yesterday, I had to prepare what's called the sponge. And the sponge is just, it has to rise for about 18 hours. So, or it's not really rising, although it does rise, but it helps ferment the yeast, the semolina, and we use beer in this. So this is flour, semolina flour, beer, and a little bit of water, and yeast.
Okay.
So yeah, I let that sit for 18 hours because this is a rustic bread. There's quick breads that go a lot faster, and there's some that, you know, you just have to make up and it'll rise, you know, in 2 hours. But this one is an Italian rustic bread, and this is how it's done.
Okay.
So that's what we're starting with.
Okay.
So it's been in there. You can do it in the refrigerator or on your counter, but it needs to come to room temperature before you add any of your other ingredients. So, and the beer had to be room temperature at the same time. So I'm going to add now 3. It's going to look like a lot, but then it's not going to look like a lot when I start to go in.
So this is regular flour here. You had 3 scoops of that.
Right. And I'm going to get really messy. My hands are going to get crazy messy.
That's fine. Go for it.
And so, but this is part of the fun to me.
And this is
semolina, and this is just a cup of that.
Cup of semolina.
Then
This looks like a real goo here.
It is going to be a goo of all goos. Now I'm going to mix it in a little bit first, and then I'm going to add 2.5 teaspoons of salt, or actually tablespoons of salt. So I'm going to get this going. Do you want to do this part?
You go right ahead. She loves getting her hands dirty. Look at this. This is what cooking's all about.
That's
And you know,
exactly
while
right.
you're doing this, you talk about bread, and this is something you mentioned to me before we started. And there's the bread is
It's just part of life.
It is life,
It is
isn't it?
life. It gives life. People in
Yeah.
all cultures make some kind of bread, whether it's flat bread, whether it's tortillas, whether it's unleavened bread, bread, crackers, some type of bread in every culture is made. And so
men traditionally back in the day, men did more of the bread making than the women.
They did. It takes a lot of, if you did this all day, they had bakers, and even in Switzerland, you don't really make it yourself. You go to the bakery every morning and get your bread. Now, I don't know if it's that way today, but I know it was 50 years ago. Just 50 years ago it was.
So it was because it was a manly deal because there was so much kneading involved.
That's
You're
right.
working your hands a lot.
Yeah, and they're really strong, robust men, you know, that make the bread. Now, maybe that's because they eat all the bread. I don't know. But
now, your husband is a pretty strong, robust guy. Does he do this too?
He does.
Does he?
He
Okay,
does.
just making
Yeah.
sure.
He does like most of our bread.
That's what I figured.
Yeah,
That's what I figured. You know, you can really smell that beer in there too.
You really
It's
can, and it's the yeast too that you smell, and it's delicious. All right, now what I'm going to do? Can I ask you to do me a favor?
Certainly.
Can you get a cup of that flour, and then we'll switch back places.
Even cup. Okay.
Yeah, and put it all over right there.
Oh, right here?
Right there.
Just sprinkle it like this?
That's great.
Am I
Just
doing
all
good?
Of it.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
I'm doing pretty good, aren't I?
You are doing so good.
I'm so impressed.
I think you did this either. Yeah, I think you've been doing this.
It was in a
before. You
previous
ever
life. That's what it was.
Also, do you mind
Okay.
getting 2 tablespoons of that salt?
Is this tablespoon?
That's right.
Okay.
See, I needed your help today. Look at me. I usually can go to the
In
sink.
here?
There you go.
Okay.
And wipe my hands off, but since you're here, I don't have to do that.
Okay. All right.
All right, there you go. And I'm going to mix it up a little bit more in just
All
a
right.
second. See, you're having so much fun.
I am,
I
I'm
bet
telling
you're going to go home and make this.
I am. I'm thinking seriously about doing that.
Yep.
Not.
Yeah, it's great
Okay.
fun.
Change places
Okay.
again. All right. Let me get over
All
here
right,
where
so
I'm
I'm
in the
mixing
non-area.
this in. All right, and then now,
Now-
and it looks like a shaggy mess. Don't be afraid of that. A lot of people would be like, "What am I doing wrong?"
No.
But this is supposed to be like this.
And this will be basically a round loaf when we finish, right? By the time it's cooked, it's going to look like just a dome
Yes, that's right.
about yay big, and it's going to be.
Well, mine, I'm going to cut in half. I'm going to make 2 out of it,
Okay.
and it's going to look rustic, but kind of a long, rustic-looking bread. It's going to be beautiful.
All right.
Oops. All right. Now.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Here, let me get this. I'll move this
Okay.
over here.
Now is the kneading process, and all you're doing is folding this up on top of itself,
Okay.
and then you turn it and do it again, and smush and
Now,
stretch.
let me ask you, is this self-rising flour or is it?
It's all-purpose flour.
All-purpose, okay. If you want to try this or any of her other recipes, this lady is an awesome cook and she knows her way around the kitchen. I guarantee that. So check out her website. It's gameandgarden.com. Friend her on Facebook, and you can get her DVDs and books and all that stuff, and you can be just as, well, maybe as good a cook as she is. Okay, so you finished kneading it and
I am finished.
ready to roll.
That's right.
It's going to go in a bowl now, and it's got to just sit, right?
It's just got to sit.
Yeah.
We're going to let it sit for about an hour to an hour and a half. As long as it doubles in size, you're good to go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, next step is to take the dough from the kitchen out to the oven, and we put it on a peel. Now, you might think this is a attitude adjuster for your kids. It's not. This is called a peel, right? It could be.
Yeah.
I guess it could be in the case. This is called a peel, and it's just a piece of wood your husband made, and it's for the purpose of getting this in the oven.
That's
getting
right.
The bread. So what do we do now?
All right. Here is our dough, and it has gotten bigger.
Yep.
And you can see if it comes back.
Oh, so
like
spongy.
That,
okay.
Then it's ready. It is so ready. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this in half.
Okay. Why?
Well, one thing, you could bake it this way if you wanted to, but one thing is that my oven, to get it in the oven, I'm going to put it needs to fit.
I got you. You need the thinner slice. Okay.
But while I'm at that, you can make this in your oven. You don't have to have, an earthen oven to do this. You can put this in your oven at 400 degrees.
Good point.
For about 35 to 40 minutes, then turn off the heat and let it sit in there for about 10 more minutes and get the crust on it really nice and crusty. Okay. But we're going to take it outside. So I'm going to put my flour on here. And you can do this even with what you've got. And I don't really care how messy I get. So I'm just going to, there we go. You can do this in your oven too. With this recipe, you can put the flour in. Sometimes it'll burn, but it's not, it's quite a high of temperature as bread sometimes is baked. So it shouldn't, burn. And we're going to just leave. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful, y'all?
It is. It's gorgeous.
And you
Looks
can
like it's
cut it or
alive.
not. Yeah, and it's just going to be beautiful when you get it out of the oven. So I am going to put a little salt on it, but that's just because I like my bread a little salty.
Okay.
And some people, they have butter with salt in it, and so, because the best way to eat it is just with butter. But a lot of butter splattered on there. But I like, and if you have unsalted butter, which we usually do, I like my bread to have salt on it.
Okay.
So I'm putting that on there. Now it's ready to go in the oven.
All right. Follows out to the oven. Here we go.
All right, I'm ready for the bread.
All right, here we go.
Okay, got it all prepped. Thanks for bringing it out here to me.
Sure. Wow,
Just
look
like
how easy
a pizza
that is.
oven. There you go. All I do is shut it in, the handy little door, and now we're going to let it cook for about 15 minutes, and it'll be done.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm ready.
Okay. There we go.
Look at that.
There you go.
Look at that perfect piece
Isn't
of
that
bread.
beautiful? I mean, if you've ever seen an Italian piece of rustic bread, this would be it. I mean, it is so good. It really is.
Can I taste it?
Yeah.
Not right now. We're going to let it cool, I
We'll
guess.
let it cool for a few minutes, and then, but we need to eat it warm. Nothing better than warm bread with butter. For sure.
Mouth's watering. Can we take it? We'll take it to the
Let's
kitchen.
go.
All right.
Come
Okay. Folks, I cannot wait to try this. Before I do, I want to tell you thanks, Stacy.
You're welcome.
For being on with us. It's been a real pleasure to have you again. We appreciate it a lot.
Oh, I had a great time. A great time. I love it.
I'm going to take a bite, and we're going to say so long, and thanks again. Let's eat.
Yum. Thank you.